What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Rank Everything, the show where we rank everything. I'm your host, Ryan. And after being gone for however long, we are back. Today, we're going to be ranking the all U.S. presidents based on which one is probably a furry. Or which ones are most likely furries. Our tiers for today are here at the bottom. We have What's a Furry? These are like presidents who obviously the majority of the presidents are all dead and not going to know what a furry was. Definitely not ever heard of one. But yes, what's a furry? Then from there we have perish. These are like presidents. If you asked them, or like if this topic ever came up in conversation, they would just kill you for bringing it up. Then from there you've got maybe once. These are presidents who might, they might do that one time. Then from there we have, I guess that fox did have a nice ass. These are the presidents who are like, now they're really thinking about it. And then from there, here at the top, we have, do not leave this guy alone in a room with your dog. This is the most, it does not get more deprived than this. All right. To go along with our ranking today, in order to help me with my rankings, I have this list here of fun facts about each president that I will be reading off as we get to them. These are, of course, all the U.S. presidents in order, all the way up to Joe Biden. Let's get started. So first up, we have George Washington. So the fun fact about George Washington, his dentures were not made of wood, but rather of ivory, gold, and human and animal teeth, among other materials. So it's like if you've ever seen like the Shane Gillis joke where he talks about doing the George Washington tour, and at the very end of the tour they tell you about his dentures, and that apparently the top row was made from like donkey teeth and other materials, and the bottom was all teeth of like slaves. And just like that's an absolutely fucking crazy thing to tell somebody at the end of the George Washington tour. And that just makes you really like go like, damn, maybe you shouldn't have told me that kind of thing. But George Washington, I mean, because let's see, like he was like 6'2", and he was like fucking, I don't know, back in the Revolutionary War and all that stuff. And no dude was like fucking crazy. Let's see. Do I think that George Washington would have been a furry? Maybe once. I'm going to say maybe once. Next is John Adams. John Adams and also Thomas Jefferson both died within hours of each other on the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1826. So 50 years to the day that the two of them signed the Declaration of Independence, they died. John Adams actually after Thomas Jefferson. John Adams was, I don't know, he's like a president that people like made fun of for being fat or something like that. I don't know. I mean, as far as whether or not I think John Adams would have been a furry, I mean, probably not. We're going to put him in the what's a furry category. Thomas Jefferson, just like John Adams, also died on the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson was ambassador to France from the United States for quite a few years during the Revolution. That's one of the big reasons why we were able to have the French on our side during the Revolutionary War, because of his travels over there and stuff like that. So I mean, like, I don't know. He lived in France for like 10 years or something like that. So he was probably getting up to some freaky ass shit. So we're gonna put him in. I guess that fox did have a nice ass. James Madison. James Madison, the father of the Constitution, was only 5'4" and weighed less than 100 pounds. So, whoa. So, I mean, like, yeah, he's the shortest president we ever had. I did not know that he weighed less than 100 pounds. That meant that this boy was, I don't know, either had the craziest metabolism or he just was not eating. Which may or may not be a bit concerning. But, said he was, I don't know. Based on what I heard about this, based on what I know about him, he, I don't know. It didn't seem to affect him. I'm sure he got bullied for it. Do I think that he would have been? I mean, it's like when you're 5'4" and you weigh less than 100 pounds, you're basically the same size as all those animals. So it makes sense to me. Guess that fox did have a nice ass. James Monroe. was the first president to have an outdoor inauguration in Washington, D.C., which was held on site of the current Supreme Court building. So that's interesting. That's interesting. James Monroe, I don't know anything else about James Monroe. Let's see. Do I think he... Do folk animals must remember Monroe? Yeah, which put him in the what's a furry category. John Quincy Adams only agreed to speak with Anne Royal, the first woman to interview a president, after she commandeered his clothes during one of his daily baths in the Potomac River. So she basically blackmailed him into doing a fucking interview. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, probably we're going to put him in the parish category. I think that's fitting. Andrew Jackson was the first of 7 presidents born in a log cabin. Yeah, bro's absolutely going in the fucking parish category. I mean, he said I think it was like he owned like a parrot that he would like taught obscenities to. He forced the Native Americans to walk down the Trail of Tears to Oklahoma so that would become their land. He just was like a tough motherfucker. So yeah, definitely put him in the parish category. Martin Van Buren owned 2 tiger cubs as pets, which were given to him as gifts from the Sultan of Oman, which is a country in, I don't know if it's in the Middle East or Africa, but that's pretty cool. And I mean, like, I don't know. It feels like it's kind of fate. All I'm saying is that guess that fox did have a nice ass. William Henry Harrison delivered the longest inaugural address in history, 105-minute speech without a hat or overcoat on March 4th, 1841. After developing pneumonia, he died in the White House exactly 1 month later, becoming the first president to die in office. Yes. They said it is believed that the reason, because he would die from the pneumonia that he almost certainly got from the 2-hour-long address in the very cold month of March it was that day. And said despite he delivered almost a 2-hour inauguration speech, which is just like what do you possibly have to say? Like did he fucking lay out his whole plan for the presidency right then and there? I mean, like, shit, son. I wonder if there are copies of that speech available someplace to read, because I think I would like to know what he was saying that was worth him talking for 2 hours. But William Henry Harrison, we'll just put him in the what's a furry category. John Tyler was the first president to have a veto overridden. So, like the president, like a Congress or the Senate will pass a law. It goes to the president. The president has the right to veto that law, but Congress has the right to turn around and veto the veto, essentially, to overturn it so that the law gets passed anyway, depending on who you ask. Which, I said, I forgot to say it at the top. The point of this video is not to get political, okay, but I may or may not say some unfortunate things about presidents that you might really like, especially when we get to the modern presidents. Just in case you have certain opinions about them. But really comes down to, it's all right. The Congress being able to override a veto by just voting on it. It's one of those things like maybe I asked one of my coworkers the other day whether or not, we're getting into the realm of the possibility of Congress having too much power over the president. And it's just, not trying to get political, but I'm just saying. So, John Tyler, first president to ever have a veto overridden. Maybe once. James K. Polk was the first president to retire after 1 term and not seek re-election. So he served 1 term and he did not run again, which is a fucking power move, I guess, is what we're going to call that. He said he was the first, which means he's not the only one, apparently. I don't know who the others might be. It's funny. This is a very flattering picture of him because this is a painting of him. I guess he was the last. I don't know, because there's other presidents who, because there are actual pictures of James K. Polk, and he has just like a totally fucking crazy hair. But no, this is a very flattering painting of him. We're gonna put him in the maybe once category. Zachary Taylor is the only president whose remains were exhumed when a medical examiner tested for poisoning in 1991. After reviewing the results, the examiner determined that the arsenic levels were several hundred times less than they would have been if the president had been poisoned, because the belief is that he died from arsenic poisoning, but his body was never examined for arsenic poisoning at the time of his death. And then fucking 100 years later or more, they exhumed his remains to test it for arsenic poisoning, and they found out that apparently he did not show enough arsenic in his blood or in his body to make a conclusive decision on whether or not he was actually poisoned. So may or may not have been the first assassination, or I think the first assassination. I don't remember who was assassinated first. Maybe he was this. I don't know. Don't remember. Not expert on the presidents, obviously. Zachary Taylor. He just looks. We're gonna put him in the Parrish category. He looks like he's angry. Millard Fillmore refused an honorary degree of Doctor of Civil Law from Oxford, saying no man is to accept a degree that he cannot read. So I guess Millard Fillmore couldn't read, or something like that, which is just like, how the fuck do you become president if you can't read? Whatever. I don't know. But based on what he just said, we're going to put him in the what's a furry category because he's, I don't know, stupid or something. He can't read. Franklin Pierce was the first president to cancel the inaugural ball due to the death of his son. That hurts. That hurts a lot. Franklin Pierce, I mean, I don't know. Was his wife dead too? I guess I'd have to know that, or just kind of put him in the maybe once category for now. James Buchanan is the only president who never married. His niece performed the role of White House hostess while he was in office. So, interesting. The only president to have never been married. Wonder how long that's gonna stand. Let's see. James Buchanan. He just looks like he's such a jovial guy. In fact, he may or may not be the only president who's like putting on a... Okay, no, there's... George H.W.'s got a really nice smile going. In fact, I love how all of the presidents are kind of not smiling until we get to, I guess, maybe Jimmy Carter, but really Ronald Reagan. It's like they told the presidents to start fucking smiling. We're going to put James Buchanan in the Fox with nice ass category for now. Abraham Lincoln, the only president to obtain a patent. In 1849, he invented a complicated device for lifting ships over dangerous shoals by means of buoyant air chambers. Much to his disappointment, the U.S. patent number 6,469 was never put into practical use. Damn. So, not only is Abraham Lincoln in the Wrestling Hall of Fame with a record of 299-1, yes, if you did not know that, and two, he was also a fucking inventor, apparently, that might have been good for, what was that, for boats? Ships. Yeah, might have been good for, maritime travel. Well, I mean, unfortunately, the only president ever been shot in the back. No, that's a lie. He was not. No, because JFK got shot in the back of the head too. Yeah. So fucking Abe Lincoln. Well, I don't know. President Lincoln. I'm gonna put him in the maybe once category. Andrew Johnson was buried with his head resting on a copy of the Constitution. That's cool. That's really cool. He looks angry. We're going to put him in the Parrish category. Ulysses S. Grant was born Hiram Ulysses Grant, but changed his name because he did not like his monogram, which was H-U-G, or hug. So, too soft for this boy, so he's also going to go in the Parrish category. Rutherford B. Hayes held the first Easter egg roll on the White House lawn. I don't know what an Easter egg roll is unless we're talking about like something equivalent to like an Easter egg hunt. However, I don't know. But God, I love his beard. That fox does have a nice ass. Okay, James Garfield. First presidential candidate to spend more than $1 million on his campaign. Well, yeah. I wonder what the average campaign cost is these days. Like, I wonder how much Kamala spent on her campaign, or how much she got in, like, donations from, the super PACs or whatever the hell they're called. I don't know. But James Garfield, I promise I'm not trying to, like, make this even, because it's extremely even right now. But it's just turning out that way. James Garfield, I mean, literally, he looks like a person who would be like, "What's a furry?" Like, other than I'm gonna put him in the Parrish category to mix him up a little bit. Chester Arthur, first president to take the presidential oath of office in his own home, located on Lexington Avenue in New York City. God, he looks so miserable. So we're gonna put him. Then I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. First president, do not leave this guy alone in a room with your dog. That's all I'm saying. Grover Cleveland would always personally answer the White House phone. So he's looking for people to talk to, I guess. Guy looks absolutely commanding. I mean, the signature stash. Maybe once. Benjamin Harrison, I don't know why he's on the list twice, but whatever. First president to have electricity in the White House. Once got an electrical shock, leading his family to often refuse to touch the light switches and sometimes leave the lights on at bedtime. So they were very terrified of electricity, which is probably the kind of thing that someone who thinks that foxes have nice asses would think. William McKinley was the first president to use campaign buttons, so like those big ass I voted buttons or some shit. That's pretty funny, I guess. I don't know. That's also like very corny at the same time. So it's like we'll put him in the maybe once category. Teddy Roosevelt. He set what was then the world record for most handshakes in one day, with 8,513 at a White House reception on January 1st, 1907. Who was counting? Who was counting how many handshakes the president was doing? You think that's like a specific job that someone could have, the White House handshake counter? They just stand behind the president and they just have like they just like click a button that counts up. That's probably what they do nowadays. Or they just, I don't fucking know, the president's got a wire in his, I don't know. Teddy Roosevelt, motherfucker's hard as fuck. He does not know what a furry is. And no. In fact, you go into the Parrish category. William Howard Taft started the tradition of a president throwing out the first pitch of the baseball season at a Washington Senators game on April 14th, 1910. William Howard Taft was also, it was either him or was it Grover Cleveland? I think it was William Howard Taft who was the fattest president ever. He weighed like 350 pounds or some crazy shit like that. And, yeah, fucking crazy shit. William Howard Taft, yeah, we'll put him in the... No. If he's freaky enough to be 350 pounds, he's freaky enough to do it with an animal one time. Or, I don't know. I'm not an expert in furries either, so I don't know what it means to be a furry exactly. But we're just equating it to fucking animals. Oh, God. Woodrow Wilson is the only president buried in Washington, D.C. at the National Cathedral. The guy looks like he's all business. Parrish. Warren G. Harding, first president to visit Alaska and Canada, because, let's see, William Howard Taft was 1910, so Woodrow Wilson would have been, probably a few years later, so we'll call that 1915. So 1920, yeah, they would have had, the president at least probably would have had a private airplane that he could have flown on in 1920. Warren G. Harding. Alaska and Canada, there's a lot of wildlife up there. I'm not saying anything, but I am also saying that do not leave this guy alone in a room with your dog. Calvin Coolidge, the only president sworn in by a former president, Chief Justice William Howard Taft. Yeah, because he like served in Chief Justice. Does that mean he was elected to the Supreme Court after his? I don't even fucking know. I don't know about all that. But Calvin Coolidge died. I'm trying to remember how he died. I think he died from a blood clot. I'm not sure exactly, but what's a furry? Because Calvin Coolidge was famous for never speaking. Like, he was like, I don't know if he's like it's one of the things of just like, how do you as a president become, or how do you as a person become president? This person who's meant to be the ultimate shining beacon for all the citizens of the country when you suck at giving public addresses. I mean, it's one of those things where he's famous for not talking. Herbert Hoover refused to accept a salary for his presidency and gave all of his federal paychecks to charities. So that's just awesome. That's just awesome. We're gonna put him in the what's a furry category, because there's no way that a guy that great knows what a furry is. That's all I'm saying. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a devoted stamp collector who kept up his hobby while in office. See, that's cool. I like that. Maybe once. Harry Truman. The middle initial S in his name is not an abbreviation and does not stand for another name. So it's just his middle name is literally S. That's crazy. That's some shit that a furry would do. But then fucking get that Fox. Fox did have a nice ass now that you mentioned it. Dwight Eisenhower. Dwight Eisenhower was an avid golfer who installed a putting green on the White House lawn. That's cool. Parrish. John F. Kennedy was the first person born in the 20th century to become a president. Gosh. JFK. So, from what I've heard about JFK, he apparently had what was basically a sex addiction, like something like he had to have sex like every 4 hours, otherwise he'd get insane migraines or something like that. Something like that shit. Something crazy. And so, definitely going to say that Fox had a nice ass. LBJ graduated from high school at the age of 15. That's fucking what? Does that mean that like you just graduated earlier back then, or did you just have amazing grades and was able to shoot his way up through the top? I mean, the LBJ is definitely like a Parrish kind of guy. Tricky Dick Richard Nixon was the first president to visit all 50 states. See, that's the kind of thing that a cool president does. Put him in the maybe once category. Gerald Ford is the longest living president. Of course, he's not alive anymore. Honestly, I don't think he is. Gerald Ford, if he lived the longest, he definitely. Well, okay, I'm not gonna say that. Once we get to like Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, we're going to get into the people who've like, we're going to have to start asking questions. I'm not going to ask the question just yet, but we'll get there. Gerald Ford, what's a furry? Jimmy Carter, first president to use his nickname Jimmy while being sworn into office, because his real name was James. Yeah, we're going to put him in the what's a furry category. He's just, I think he's just too sweet. Ronald Reagan appeared in 53 Hollywood movies from Love Is on Air in 1937 to The Killers in 1964. Yeah, because Ronald Reagan was a super famous actor before he became president. Like, I'm sure there's people who think he was like much more famous as an actor than he ever was as a president. That I remember learning about him being an actor, and I was like, what? And I was like, I think I was like shocked by this idea that an actor could become president. But then I was like, well, he's an American-born citizen and he's above the age limit. So, yeah. It's like one of those things just like, it's just, yeah, damn. Ronald Reagan. Look at that smile. He also did have like a pet monkey or some shit, fucking bonzo. So he's going to go in the Fox category. George H.W. Bush was the only president to serve as United States ambassador to the United Nations. I don't know if that means he was ambassador at the same time that he was president, or if that is like he did that after or before. But that's cool. George H.W. Bush, I mean, just look at that smile. He also died of a stroke like 10 or 15 years ago or something like that, I think. So we're going to put him in the what's a furry category. Bill Clinton was the first president to have been a Rhodes Scholar. I don't remember what being a Rhodes Scholar means exactly, but I know it's a high achievement. It also says here William J. Clinton, but he, of course, went by Bill. Let's see. So, Bill Clinton, I mean, I don't know. Depends on if you think that he would do stuff to the Fox that he did to Monica Lewinsky or whatever the okay. Since we're at Bill Clinton, I will now say it. Okay. When it comes to presidents that served and have been alive since we've ushered in this largely digital age, the question becomes, do you think that any of the presidents we've had in recent memory have ever seen or at least know of the existence of furry porn? It's the question that has to be asked because it's the kind of thing that we just go off of. Like, does Bill Clinton know that furry porn exists? And 2, has he seen some of it? And 3, did it get worse? Like, did he go from there? And I don't fucking know. We're going to put Bill Clinton in the Fox category. George Bush was the first to follow his father as president since John Quincy Adams in 1824, because obviously H.W. Bush is his father. George Bush definitely knows what a fucking furry is. We're going to say maybe once. And so, let's see, I got to go to a different list because George Bush was the last one on the list. Barack Obama, prior to becoming the first African-American president, he won 2 Grammys for Best Spoken Word Album. And his wife, Michelle, has also won a Grammy. That's fucking crazy. Obama's got 2 Grammys, and Michelle's got 1. They got fucking 3 Grammys between them, and he was president. Very influential president for being the first black president. That's crazy. That's crazy, son. Obama definitely knows what a furry is. Whether or not Obama actually has ever seen the kind of shit, I don't know. I know that Obama definitely like really cool. Like he's a huge. I know he was a huge basketball guy. I know he did like a survival retreat with Bear Grylls. I don't know if they did the show together, but I feel like Obama is progressive enough that might have been something that happened to him. So we're gonna put him in the maybe once category. Donald Trump. Before becoming president, Trump was a real estate developer, entrepreneur, and host of the NBC reality show The Apprentice. Yep, we all know about the Donald. Do I think? I mean, I don't know, because I don't know enough about Trump to be able to like make any sort of definitive decision. It's like one of those things of just like, if Trump was walking through the woods one day and he saw like a kind of curvaceous fox, would he be like, oh wow? Or do you think he would not notice it and just keep going? Or do you think he would say some shit? I don't know. I can't do a Donald Trump impression, so I'm not even gonna fucking try. We're gonna put Trump in the, I guess that, no, I don't even, okay, we're gonna put him in the nice ass category. Joe Biden, he overcame a debilitating childhood stutter after enduring bullying over the condition in grade school. Well, yeah, fucking, he went from stuttering to maybe or maybe not having dementia or Alzheimer's, like Ronald Reagan did. Where is he at? Where did I put Ronald Reagan? There he is. Okay, Joe Biden, our most recent president, or our most recent new president, Joe Biden. I mean, it's like, I guess we could go 2 ways with this. We can be like, what's a furry? Because he's like not all there anymore and fucking. Or we can be like, put him in the Fox category with Trump, but he's just like up there for like different reasons. I think I'm gonna put him in the what's a furry category because I just don't think I think you like tell him and he just wouldn't remember. Okay, but this is our official ranking for which of the U.S. presidents were most likely furries. If you all enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel to see more content like this in the future. Leave a like on this video so YouTube will recommend it more to you as well as others. And leave a comment down below letting me know what ranking you want to see in the future. It can be anything. The channel is called Rank Everything. Once again, thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a good one.